What are we talking about? Our main overboard?
Yeah.
So we did figure 8.
What, 6 approaches? 7?
We did 3 practice approaches with a buoy.
Yep. 2 approaches on Jack.
2 on Jack, 1 on me, 1 on Kaya.
Yeah.
So,
Total 7.
Yeah.
And they seem to get progressively better. Our communication got better. By the end, our communication was really good.
So what was good about our communication?
It was constant. The whole time, everything. Yeah, it was constant, and all the pieces were there, like the spotter. What do you think, Dan?
I think you're right. Although for some reason the approaches to the buoy worked out better than the approaches to the people.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of timing. And,
The intensity was different when somebody was in the water.
yeah, I think you're right. Yep.
It definitely
There was
is.
more riding on it.
Yeah.
Nobody signed the waiver.
Yeah, it's okay to make a buoy wait,
Right.
but when your friend's getting stung by jellyfish, it's different.
It took 8 minutes to get Jack back on the boat.
Yeah,
That's a long time.
2 approaches.
In relatively moderate waters, you know,
Right.
and everything.
Right.
In warm water, in 10 knots of breeze.
Yep, under
Yep.
sail.
Yeah. Figure 8.
Yeah,
We
everything
probably
was
could have
under-
had the sails out all the way during most of our rescues.
to get more maneuverability, more
Yeah, and speed.
speed,
Yep.
and the ability to go further upwind if we needed to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, active sail trim is important.
Yeah. Yep.
If you can't get upwind back to the person,
Yep.
then you have to start over.
That's why it's important to approach on a close reach, so you can trim in and still get some speed.
Right.
If you approach at a close haul and you're too low of the person, you can't get up to the person.
Right. You can't just point into the wind and go that way.
Right.
You can get blown off
to approach
course.
at a close reach.
Yeah.
But if you approach at a beam reach, then you're going to skip right off the atmosphere
Yeah.
and go right by them.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's hard to get the right speed, the right amount of momentum at a nice close reach where
Yeah.
you end up almost dead in the water at them instead of before them.
Right. Yep. Which is why practice is like this is great. It's important.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when we threw someone a line, we quickly learned that you had to have it all the way back to the swim ladder.
Right.
If it was on the side of the boat, we still couldn't get them to the swim ladder.
Yeah. Yep. So the swim ladder is a great way to bring a person in these conditions.
Right.
But if the boat is hobby horsing too much on waves, then you got to bring the person in midships, one way or another,
Right.
because you know it's pretty dangerous to be back there with the boat lifting up and down 3 or 4 feet.
Yeah. You don't want to be under the stern.
Right.
How was your experience with the rope elevator?
It's a pain. It's difficult.
You needed something to hold on to for your upper body.
You have to be able to reach a tow rail.
Otherwise, you can't balance
Yeah,
yourself.
you don't have nothing to hold on to. You're just
Right.
gonna.
And you couldn't,
Well,
so we had to throw
had
you a
to-
line and
Yeah, so I had to hold on, and we didn't know that until I was in the water doing it.
Yeah.
And then when the person's cranking you in, the line hangs like this, and they're cranking you here. The line is getting shorter, so you start off standing in the middle, but then you're getting up here, so they have to stop cranking, and you have to walk yourself back down to the middle of the line, and then they have to crank some more.
and you had an odd angle,
Yeah,
right? It's tilting you back.
and if the hull isn't clean and you have some barnacles on the hull, you're going to get cut.
Oh, yeah.
You're
Yeah.
absolutely going to get cut,
Right.
and that's like, you don't want to get cut by barnacles.
Insult to injury.
Yeah, and it would scratch the jellyfish stings though.
But in the long run, you were able to use that line we rigged, and we hoisted you up with the winch,
Yeah,
right? And it worked.
it worked, but it's
It
not.
wasn't smooth.
It's not smooth, and if the boat was bouncing around, that would be difficult.
In our circumstances, on the boat and the weather and the waves and the wind, the swim ladder was a better option.
Yeah. I consider a swim ladder like necessary safety equipment on a boat.
Yeah, me too.
It should be, to me, it should be there with flares and fire extinguishers and your sound making device.
Right.
One that you can deploy from the water. If
Yeah.
you fell over solo or even at the dock and there's no ladders at your dock, have your swim ladder rigged in a way that you can untie it from the water
Right.
and lower it. And
Right.
practice it. Tie it off like you're like, I think I can reach this, and then jump in the water when somebody else is on the boat and try to untie it and get the swim ladder down.
Yeah, practice was key in our drills too. We got better and better and better over time.
Constant communication. The helms person, really. Over communicate everything they're doing. Everything they are thinking about what they're doing, just say what they're doing. What point of sail they're going to head to, what they want the sails to be trimmed to, like coming up, what they want it currently trimmed at,
Right.
and pointer to constantly be saying where the person is.
Yeah, everybody was describing what they did by the end, and it made it go smoother.
Yeah.
And how about your life jacket? You inflated your life jacket.
Did you manually or automatically inflate it?
Oh, so automatically inflated,
Okay.
and it worked.
It did. Was it surprising?
No.
Did it choke you?
So it wasn't really that shocking.
It was easy to see. It was the easiest life jacket to see we had.
Oh yeah. And then when I was on the boat, and then Katya was wearing it, and she was in, it was so much easier to see her with this on than Jack with the.
The red and black life jacket.
Do they have any inflatables that have the reflective tape on it? Like for nighttime and a light?
So the nighttime ones have a strobe that
Oh, they
flashes.
do.
That one has a whistle.
Well,
Looks like
that's
the
yeah.
on the bottom. Is it canister? Or no, that's part of the canister.
This is the canister.
Yeah.
and you should tie a whistle to your life jacket. Just an athletic whistle.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to flow this than to scream and
Right.
overboard.
Yeah, a lot less energy.
Yeah, oh yeah, and it'll travel a lot further. The difference in doing it with a person than a buoy.
The intensity was there. You have
Yeah.
to get that person. If your fender floats away, it's not too big of a deal.
Right. It's
Well, the person, one thing, was able to grab the rope versus the fender,
yeah.
which we had to hook.
Right.
You don't have to be near as close to the person if they're uninjured.
Yeah,
The majority of the time, we ended up throwing a rope. I
Yeah.
think at least half the time,
yeah.
threw a rope as far as we could.
The one time we were a good 10 feet. Was Kaya?
I was just at the very end.
Katya
Yeah.
barely got the rope.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got
It was
the
on,
last
like, a-
foot of
yeah.
the rope.
Grab it.
Yeah, I mean you were 10 or 15 feet away from the boat.
Yeah.
We could have never got you with the
The boat
boat
kind
hook.
of bore away just as we were approaching it.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, once the boat comes to a stop
you're done.
and your engine's not on, you're at the mercy of the wind. Yeah, it helps when you throw that line to have it coiled nice and put a spin to it.
Yeah, like
Spin it properly and it'll
On just the line. you mean.
unfurl. Yeah, unfurl the
Right.
line as it pays out.
Yeah. And then for having the line tied off, you have to have it,
Yeah,
you really want it tied off at the stern.
yeah. I tied it off on the stern pulpit and then ran it around. It was a long line.
Yeah. But you also have to be able to, if the person grabs the line and is tangled up in their hands and they can't let go of the line, and if your boat's moving really faster than a knot, you're going to pull that person underwater.
Yeah.
So like on the boat, you need to be able to release the line if it's tangled on their hand and they can't release it.
Yeah, 2 knots when you're on a boat doesn't seem fast. Seems like you're barely moving, but when you're in the water being towed by it, it gets fast.
Like when we did that
It's
rope
fast.
elevator, you probably weren't even going a knot. And I was like, you got to stop the boat.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a big thing, keeping the boat still, essentially, while recovering that person makes it easier.
Yeah.
Correct.
So Kaya, how about you? That was your first time doing it from the water?
It was intimidating with the boat coming at you. I wasn't worried about the boat,
Going away.
going away, leaving. But when it's coming closer and you're in the water and it just looks like 100 times bigger, from there.
Yeah. You're looking up at the deck.
Yeah. And it, you know, it's like it was like for a while it was like dead on.
Yes.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
This is it.
I think it's easy to assume as crew that the helms person sees the person in the water, right? Like if they're going right at them,
Right.
they probably see them, but you should say, you know, dead ahead,
Yeah.
right at them, because
Spotter, keep talking.
yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
you might. The helm person might be kind of making a turn and sort of scanning for them and not see them dead ahead.
Yeah,
Right.
Dan, when did you lose view of the person in the water? I mean,
Yeah, when the person got really close below the deck, you couldn't see him. So I was asking Marlene to go to the side of the boat to make sure I was making the
Right.
appropriate approach.
Whether you need to be closer or further away from them.
Yep. Yep.
Was this the first time you practiced with a person in the water?
Yep.
So what do you think of it?
I thought it was good. I thought it could have been smoother, but it was better. It was better than it was good to practice it.
Did it go like you thought, or did you think it would go better?
I thought it might go a little smoother with the person in the water, especially after when we went by the buoy. How good the figure eights were approaching the buoy, and once we put the man in the person, they got a little sloppier for some reason. I mean, the first one was a little bit, we had a problem with the jib buoy. The second one, maybe it was the approach. The third one, we were right there, but then the boat bore away. But we threw the line, and she was able to get it, so. Because having to take 2 passes adds a lot of time. Doubles the time the person is in the water.
Yeah.
At least doubles.
Yeah.
Do you think it was kind of a fear of running over the person? Like you wanted to be slower?
No, we didn't have enough head of steam before we went up. We need attack guys.
Jellyfish things. What do you do about that?
Vinegar?
Vinegar and pee?
Right. Seemed to work.
I don't
for
know.
you.
I don't know which one worked better, but it's cleared up now.
Feel the boat when
So it
flattens
did.
out.
Yeah.
It helped,
You have to
it
bear
seemed.
off a little bit.
I don't know how long does it take to go away anyway.
Although I don't think you will always have the advantage of 10 hands on deck to do a man overboard.
That is huge. Because usually if it's a couple, like if it was the 2 of you, and one person goes overboard, you're doing the
I'd
whole thing
probably
solo.
Turn the engine on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forget about the sails. Let them flop. And try to do a figure 8, come back, put it neutral, let it coast, throw whatever. I mean, I don't know if that would work.
It's okay to turn the engine on as soon as you get close to the person,
Yeah, as I said, turn
you
it
kill
off.
the engine.
Yeah.
As soon as you
Turn it off
realize
and coast.
you're in the right position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what they say the most likely thing to happen with the engine and recovering somebody overboard is that you'll foul the prop. You're way more likely to do that than run over the person.
Yeah.
So
Follow
then-
the prop with ropes and things.
Yeah. Because
Right.
then you have a disabled boat and somebody in the water.
Right.
Yeah.
You throw the person a rope, they get in, it's in your prop.
Yeah.
Before they get in,
So it should be what they say. As soon as you throw the line, you turn the engine off.
Correct. Yep.
pretty close to an actual man overboard. Except we rehearsed before.
And we knew it was coming. That's a
Right,
big
yeah,
thing. I mean, that's got to cost you 2 or 3 minutes right there. Right when that happens, people are going to be flustered and not really know what to do. So we talked about what we were going to do before we threw the buoy in. Mm-hmm. We practiced with the buoy, and then we knew when the person was going in. Mm-hmm. So you're all you're ready to go.
Right.
Instead of somebody falling in and then nobody has an assigned position at that moment. A lot of people tend to do the same thing, so everybody starts pointing to them, or everybody tends to run to do the same thing. And it's
Right.
your person at the helm just needs to be
in charge.
appointed positions.
Right.
One thing while at the helm, I didn't even try to find the person because I knew a spotter was there to keep an eye on the person and communicate. So I could always look forward and keep an idea idea on what the boat is doing and what the crew is doing
Right.
to control the boat. And so I didn't even bother looking at all until like our final approach.
Right.
And that's the only time I first took a glimpse at where the man overboard actually was, which really helps a lot.
Yes.
It's like the pilot flies the plane, you know,
Right.
and the crew
Assists.
does their jobs
Right.
instead of everybody being distracted. Any other points about it? Practice it.
Practice is the
Practice,
key.
practice, practice.
Yeah.
That's why it got better over practice. It
Yeah.
got faster over practice. Right.
Yeah.
Even if you sailed a lot and you don't really practice it, it's still something different you're doing.
Right.
You're not going to be super fluid with.
Probably
Right.
right. What a gorgeous day.
This is
Yeah,
about
it's
perfect
amazing.
sailing weather.
Yeah.